Anyway, we were still engaging sexually, even though we were off, right? And so it was in this time where there was a lineup of us. We was passing each other on the stairway in and out.
No, y'all
We
wasn't. No,
listen.
y'all was not
You think
passing
this?
each.
You think this is a
You
game?
were not passing each other on the stairway. No, y'all
We were
was.
passing each other on the stairway. Like, this is my shift from this time to this time. So, I was a willing participant in that, and this is like, I can laugh about it now, but it's really sad, to like, what space do you have to be in to
Yeah,
accept that? And so I dealt with it already, so I could laugh about it
yeah,
now,
yeah.
and it's
That's what
funny, but
healing look
it's
like.
like,
Healing, you
right?
look back at your old self and
But I'm
laugh.
just like, what?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, seriously. It was, I'm coming over at this time. I know such and such is going to be rolling through about, an hour
yeah,
and a half later.
yeah.
And sometimes we went,
What did that do to you?
I became a shell of myself. I didn't know who I was. I actually have a couple posts on my page where it's like, I have a post that says, I knew her body better than I knew my own.
Stop. Let that sit there. You said you knew another woman's body better than you knew your own.
Yes, several women. I knew several other women's bodies better than I knew my own, and I spent a lot of time. Like, I went in such a deep hole where I was like studying these women. I would go to their profiles and I would study their pages and like what they wear. I knew when they had met up, so I watched their videos of them having sex. So I would try to imitate that and recreate that in our relationships so that
Hey, it's like it's May 25th of 2023 and shit. I wanna say that in the past I made a video about this woman, and I felt a sliver of just a tiny sliver of hesitation, given the situation and shit. I'll admit that, as a misogynist anarchist. Okay, and I mean that. I am a misogynist anarchist in our ethnic community exclusively. Okay? In the black community exclusively and shit. Shit that goes on outside of it, it just glances off me, okay? It's not gonna bother me. I have no expectation. Right? But this woman, Linnea Jackson, I made a very popular video explaining what I thought might happen in her future and whatnot, and what might happen to Dirty Dick Derek Jackson, her husband, and the quite real possibility that at some point he would be castrated, you know. And part of me making that video, somebody had, a bunch of women had jumped in there and accused me of projecting and shit, and I'm like, basically kiss my ass, okay? This is the Geek Underground 4. I'm not on probation on here. I'm not on probation on here, okay? No cuffs on me, man. All right, but I had posited in that video that she would ambush Dirty Dick Derek Jackson at some point by going back into her original persona before she became this religious woman, this devoutly religious woman of undetermined whatever religion she was in. I didn't know the fuck, man. She was doing a bunch of shit. And all rang it's fake. Um, yeah, I posited it, and she would go back into her original persona, and Derek would be caught unawares, at which point she would put a gun in his face or reach under the covers, like with her other hand under the pillow and cut off his eggplant and shit. And my words have been borne out. She didn't do that, okay? But she did this interview where she admitted finally that she knew about his infidelities the whole fucking time. Okay, she knew about his infidelities the whole motherfucking time, and that she was actually trading time. She was slotting in time between other women and shit. She also claimed that Derek had been with over 100 women and shit, and that she knew about this, and she was adjusting her schedule accordingly. She even said that Dirty Dick Derek. Okay, this is her putting her business out. This is not me being an asshole or nothing, or nagging someone or doxing or anything. But she herself, you heard it. She herself said that Derek encouraged her or gave her sex tapes that he made with other women so that she could learn how to please them and shit. I thought that was the most egregious bullshit. I think communication is just going out of the window on the sidebar and shit. I think when you get married, you just talk to your fucking wife. When I was married, when I was in the serious relationship that I was in, that I had the kids with, I told the bitches what I wanted, okay, physically or whatever, everything else. I told them, okay, straight to their face. All right, I don't know why other people can't do this and they do this behind the door shit. I am not a proponent of long-term relationships or marriages where you're behind the door with some secrets, negative or positive and shit. I'm not a proponent. I think it's an organic experience and you guys should become one, as marriage suggests. Okay, Miss Dania Jackson is a fraud. Okay, she's a fraud as far as I'm concerned, okay? All this posturing, all this crying, and doing these crazy ass videos on the fucking Instagram and shit and other places, and throwing curses out at people. She's cursing people, and it's all bullshit, okay? Now you see her sitting up here. You see the real Dania Jackson sitting ass up here. She posts, she's already been debriefed and shit, and she's out of this shit. And she's gonna find her a simp and shit. And she's gonna make sure take a rat on the cock carousel if she hasn't already been doing that, on the down low. And if she has been riding that carousel, I would only hope that whoever's peen she was sitting on will come forward like August Alsina and just tell all the dirty details. I'm tired of these women and shit. Okay, you want to know why I say that? Like whoever she'll end up banging or has been banging should come out and tell on her ass because she's telling on Derek. Okay, she's telling on Dirty Dick Derek. When Dirty Dick Derek, when Dirty Dick Derek Jaxn, the scourge of anybody with testosterone in their body on the planet, when Dirty Dick Derek cheated on her fucking ass, she could have boned out right then and there and shit, okay? But she didn't do it for a number of reasons. Alright? One of the reasons probably is because his bag wasn't. She didn't think he had earned the optimal amount of money for her to get that biological golden parachute and slide up out of this bitch. Okay, a lot of women be biding their time, like, oh, I got these 2 insurance kids and shit. I'm gonna get alimony, no fault divorce state, blah blah blah. Now I'm gonna hit him at his worst. When he at his lowest, that's when I'm gonna walk out and shit. That's when I'm gonna sit on the cock carousel again. I'm gonna renew my golden Willy Wonka ticket for the other BBC. And here we have Dania Jaxn and shit. Sit up here quite comfortably and shit. I saw on the IG when she was making the crazy videos, and she was saying she was a clothing designer wearing these horrible looking clothes. They're horribly designed, horribly colored, had no talent and shit, to be honest. And now you sit up here, she looks really smart and nice in this nice pantsuit and everything, casually attractive and sexy, not as thick as she's been in the past, that probably will change. Maybe she'll get a BBL. Maybe she'll bump up. Maybe she'll roll down to Miami with some of that divorce money and get some upgrades and shit. Okay, because she got some kids. All right, she got some kids with Dirty Dick Derek and shit. Oh fuck, Derek, you better get that paternity test, bro. I don't know. People are still following Derek and shit, and whatever he gets is hers because they got them kids. But I don't know what I should call this episode. Maybe I should call it Crocodile Tears because I feel like it's Crocodile Tears. And I side-eye any women. I've been doing this before, but I really side-eye any women telling me a shitty story about their boyfriend or their husband or whoever the fuck, the FWB. If they tell you a shitty story, Kings, okay, you take that with a big-ass tablespoonful of salt and shit, okay? It's Crocodile Tears, okay? She's sitting up here right now lifting up the hood on Derek Jackson's shit. Not that she shouldn't do that, but the way she presented herself, you wouldn't expect her to do that because she was this woman in her own religious bubble and shit, doing all this stuff to try to get closer to heaven, okay? Right now, she's sitting in the lake of fire, okay? So, I don't know. I guess we should sit up and I guess we should wait for an OnlyFans or something, or some more shitty interviews where she makes herself look bad. You're making yourself look bad, Mrs. Jaxn, okay? Especially when you tell other women that you were willingly sharing your husband with 304s. You're willingly sharing your husband. Just go the whole 9 yards and say you was in the room watching them bang those other chicks and shit. Taking notes. It doesn't make women in our ethnic community look good. Okay, it makes them look like shit. Okay. It makes it look like shit that you're willing to share a Negro. And I already fucking knew this, okay, beforehand. Decades earlier, I knew this already, that you guys would be willing to share what you consider an alpha and shit, but it's not an alpha. It's a distressed male. Okay, it's not a man. A real man will tell you what's what and put rules in the relationship. Okay, put boundaries in that bitch that you have to accept or walk away. Kicking and can. All right, Miss Jackson, you're a fraud. You're a fraud in my opinion. Okay, I don't care. I don't care to hear any other shit, and I may drag you in the future and shit. But I'm very disappointed that you've done this. I would rather you be a crazy goofy, you know, uh, you know, buried like quicksand in your own fake religion and shit than see this bullshit. Okay, because it encourages more black women to be, uh, you know, accepting of bullshit in a relationship, okay? I'm telling you bitches out there, the minute you accept some shit, that goes for men and women. The minute you accept 1 ounce of disrespect and shit, everything that comes after you deserve and shit, okay? All right? I've been around the block, okay? I lost more battles than I've won, but, I'm here today and shit. I'm here to talk to other men, especially young men and shit that aren't going through this shit right now. I want you to consider that a lot of the women you're going to meet and shit, especially in our African community, will look at interpersonal relationships as a business. Okay, as a business, it's like how they behave on social media. It's all about building their brand and everything. So now, right now, she's cashing her social chips out and doing these little fucking interviews. I can hardly wait to hear the next bullshit. Okay, I may or may not comment on it and shit, but as far as I'm concerned, Miss Dania Jackson is pretty much a standard issue standard issue female, hypergamous to a fault. All right, hypergamous, man. Everything that we've seen, everything she's done has been completely fake. Like they say in Hollywood and shit, reality is what you make it. Right, and this is an example of that shit. Okay, crocodile tears. Take anything you hear coming from the other side of the gender line with a huge grain of salt and shit. Protect your bag, protect your reputation and name, and above all else, protect your seed. SYS BM equals save yourself, black man.
This message has been paid for by the Dusties. Yes, the niggas you love to hate.